Yo, welcome back to the GM Podcast. I'm Miller.
It's Gav.
And today, we are talking about the Game 2s that have occurred in the conference finals. We're coming off an Indiana game versus New York. So, Indiana just won 114-109 in Game 2. They stole home court again for the second straight series, absolutely.
Yeah.
And Pascal Siakam had 39 points in a playoff game in 2025. Okay, so that tells you the depth of this Pacers team. Just give me a little reaction. Do you think this series is over?
I do. And it's because this Indiana team, it's almost like you sleep on them.
Yeah.
And they'll just put you away quickly. You know, we thought the Cavs were going to come back. No, we'll just put them away.
Absolutely.
They came back healthy. No, we'll just put them away. And they wear you down.
Yeah.
And it's honestly a terrible matchup for the Knicks. The fact that they really... You know, you can hide some McBride minutes and some campaign minutes, but you really only want to play 5 to 6 players if you're the Knicks. Like, that's what Tibbs wants to do. And honestly, like, when doing that, Indiana's just, it's their pace. Like, they score, we're pressing. And it's like, you know, New York does a lot of work, a lot of Brunson, a lot of dribbling. And then they score, and it's like, oh, we got a bucket there. And it's just like, all right, we're taking it out. Like, next play. And you got Tyrese Haliburton with the highest assist-to-turnover ratio in the NBA this year. Yeah. He just, as a 20-something-year-old, he just has the most all-time 20-10 and 0 assist games in NBA history already. And then also, like, honestly, Siakam, he's shooting 55% from the field this playoffs.
Yeah.
Averaging around 20 and 6, 20 and 7.
Elite.
And he's not doing it like, give me the ball, get out the way. And, you know, not to discredit Brunson or to discredit Cat, but there's not as many isolation possessions, and it's quick, fast-paced basketball.
Absolutely.
So, for them to be doing that without just give me the ball, get out the way at all, for real, is what's really impressive, and that they're getting their numbers in the flow of things.
Absolutely. And this Indiana team is based off of making reads, and Tyrese Haliburton is at the head of that, and it seems like they never make a wrong read.
No.
And that's mainly because of Tyrese Haliburton getting them into their offense. And you said something interesting earlier while we were watching the game. They just play basketball the way it was designed to be played.
Yes.
So that's the advantage that they have in this series, and what they are always continuously discredited in is the fact that they do have talented guys. Pascal Siakam being an elite number 2 that a lot of people thought was going to be a number 1 after that Toronto run. Miles Turner, who once again has been a great scoring big for close to a decade now.
Yes.
Andrew Nembhard, who him and Tyrese Haliburton, in my opinion, make up one of the most underrated backcourts in basketball.
Yes.
Easily top 10.
Yes.
Now we would have to say that. Aaron Nesmith, who has completely broken out in this playoffs, averaging more than 15 a game, I believe, and hitting threes in this series. And another thing, and we've been talking about this entire playoff series, it seems like there's been a lot of bad losses.
Yes.
You cannot come back from bad losses in playoff series. I'm just not a believer in it. Because when you have a game...
Not multiple.
No, not at all. When you have a game when you're up 15 with 2.5 minutes and you let that game slip away, and to be honest, I mean, since we haven't done a recap on that game 1, that was more of a Pacers comeback, in my opinion, than it was a Knicks choke job.
Yeah, it wasn't as much.
And this was a historical choke. Like, that's something that has never happened before based off the time and score. And still, it felt like the Pacers
scored.
The Knicks were still scoring points throughout this run.
No, I think they have, you know, and that's where, you know, Brunson in game 1, he had 40, like, he had 40 plus. But you had 7 turnovers.
Absolutely.
And with Tyrese Haliburton giving you 30 with 0 turnovers.
Absolutely.
And you don't, he doesn't take away from what everyone else does.
No.
While Brunson does take away from what everyone else does. Like, it's very...
Brunson is someone who, once again, based off his clutch shot making in playoff stretches the last 3 years, we have to hold him in a high regard.
Yes.
But at the same time, these late game Knicks stretches that they have had in the last 3 years in playoff stretches where it's just Jalen Brunson.
Yep.
At the max, here you go, let's run pick and roll, try to get a good switch, and we're going to go ISO. it's hard to watch. And once again, the game was not designed to be played that way. And the Pacers are playing the exact way James Naismith designed the game.
Yes,
and they are winning at it right now.
Yes, and you have a system.
Absolutely.
And coaching wins in clutch time.
Yes.
They're 7-0 this playoffs in clutch games.
Yeah.
And you have a guy in TJ McConnell who can try to replicate what Tyrese Haliburton does when he's out of the game the best he can.
Exactly.
And as in pushing the pace, as in bucket goes in 94 feet.
Yeah.
It's like a high school team.
Exactly.
Like, ball goes in the basket, full court press.
Yeah.
And
you're shortening possessions.
You didn't, for the last 10, 15 years of me watching basketball in the NBA, like, I haven't seen teams just pressing naturally.
Yes.
Like, just teams, it's almost like, and you can't press it. It's almost like you think, like, and I feel like great coaches find a way to do things.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's thought of as you play a good team, you can't press. That's what the notion is. You play good guards, you can't press.
Yeah.
I see Rick Pitino do it in college at a high major level. So
Absolutely.
I don't know. I'm seeing Rick Carlisle right now. He's pressing.
Yeah.
And they're about to go to the NBA Finals. So I think that's just a easy thing to say, but honestly, I don't know. Like,
I mean, I think in this series specifically, it helps the Pacers so much because when you have players like Jalen Brunson, Karl Anthony Towns, really just them two who are the soul of your offense, and they're both slow pace, it helps when you're pressing and they're getting into their action with 16 seconds left on the clock,
rather
and then
than
they're
20.
still not. They don't really show eagerness to get into that action, and still to even be close in these games, it's not like their shot making has been bad. I mean, when you have a guy go for 40 and your second go for 30, you're saying
supposed to win.
Hey, we're gonna win this game.
Yeah.
And to not have that happen, if you lose this game tonight and you win game one, which you were supposed to, there's no
split.
downside. It's
Yeah,
split.
it's a
like,
split.
Okay, Indiana came and they stole home court. Fine, they weren't supposed to do that.
All you
but
gotta do is go
it's
win
still
one.
a split. Now you got to go win one in Indiana.
Yeah.
Same thing that happened with OKC, Denver, and last series. But man, Tyrese Haliburton. Let's talk about Tyrese Haliburton for a second. We're gonna have to start having some uncomfortable conversations.
Conversations that just if you're watching basketball, or you're just looking at numbers,
Yes.
or you're gonna be like, You're gonna be like,
Yeah.
he's 15th best player.
Absolutely.
But no, Tyrese Haliburton, by the end of the year, I'm sorry, I'm going to, especially as long as he wins this series, which I think he will, or even if it just goes later in the series and he doesn't absolutely choke it. This is going to be a top 10 player in the NBA.
Yeah.
And this is going to be one of the best point guards in the NBA. And the value of I don't dribble, shoot, and so ball-centric and have a high usage rate.
Yeah.
The value is not, it's not really understood because it's Steve Nash like, honestly. It's like it's Steve Nash like. Steve Nash got an MVP averaging 15 a game.
Yeah.
I think Haliburton is the exact same way.
Yeah.
He doesn't turn the ball over. He's the smartest player on the court. He makes winning plays. I mean, they had a lot of offensive rebounds as a team, and Haliburton got one of them late in this game too.
Absolutely.
And he just makes winning plays, and once again, he doesn't need
the ball
a
at
bunch
all.
of shots. Like, he's just pushing the pace, getting off of it, always going to make the right reads, and he doesn't turn the ball over.
Yeah.
That has to be valued as a person who can drop 20, 30 points. He takes what's given to him. He doesn't settle. He always tries to make the right basketball play.
Yeah. It's just interesting to see, in my opinion, a player like this elevate when I thought that genre of player, let's say,
was just gone.
Was gone. Like, that's where it seemed like it was going. When you have players like Shai, Jalen Brunson, Luka Doncic, Anthony Edwards, Stephen Curry, who are mainly score-first guards, Donovan Mitchell. Let's talk about how this guy has taken his team to two conference finals. Two conference finals. That is 2 Final Four finishes. Let's put that in perspective. Let's talk about how this guy is a pass-first point guard. And we haven't seen anything like that since, I'd say, probably Chris Paul, as far as elevating their team.
Yes.
Like you said, Steve Nash. And I feel like what Haliburton is doing is showing the value of that pass-first point guard, because, I mean, a lot of kids today, they don't see that.
No.
Honestly, I didn't even get to watch Steve Nash based on my age alone. I didn't get to see the prime version of Steve Nash. And Tyrese Haliburton is kind of making me think, damn, this is probably what people saw when they saw Steve Nash and the impact that he had on that offense.
And not to get too off track, but I saw a podcast the other day talking about the other countries catching up. And I think it's simply because the way the game is being taught is team-based.
Yes.
Skill development, and it's how to play with a team. It's team based. Everything is, whether it's in France, it's playing with a team. Whether it's and that's why we don't see Wemby just give me the ball, get out the way, and it's kind of frustrating sometimes. But that's not the way he was taught to play the game.
It's about ball movement,
exactly.
Player movement.
It's about ball movement, player movement, and I feel like that's why we're seeing a lot of these players from other countries, whether it's Shai, whether it's Giannis, whether it's Jokic, whether it's Wemby, whether it's whoever, dominate winning in the past years, because the way training is done in the United States is to make me an all-star.
Yeah.
To make me a superstar. To make me, it's all about me. While in the other countries, it's you have to, it's just your development is a part of a team. It's Absolutely. Not, it has nothing to do with just you becoming some overall superstar player.
Yeah.
So I think that is the difference, and we're seeing a lot of, Jokic and, obviously Tyrese Haliburton's from the U.S., but, you see these guys' games translate much more to winning, and I think with Haliburton, he's he's such a 2000s point guard.
Yes,
with
literally
a little bit of new age in him, and some of the threes he can take and hit.
Let's just be real about Haliburton. He's kind of an anomaly. We've never seen a Tyrese Haliburton.
No,
it's just you see the elements of the fast-paced offense with Steve Nash, but you don't see the elite jump shooting.
No,
that Steve Nash never had. What this is the lanky athleticism to still tip passes and things of that nature. Tyrese Haliburton is a young basketball player. Let's remember this. He could really take off, and I mean we don't want to put any expectations on him right now, but. I mean, if we're talking about 2 Eastern Conference Finals appearances and he wins this series and goes to a Finals, you do have to start having conversations about, I don't know, where is his dominance rank? I mean, is he better than Damian Lillard?
Yeah.
Already, who hasn't been to a Finals?
We're talking about translating to winning. It's the definition of translating to winning.
Exactly.
And you tell me you pair this guy with, I love Siakam, and he's a power forward. You tell me you pair this guy with a KD.
Yes.
You pair this guy with a Booker.
Yeah.
You pair this guy with an elite wing that could really score the ball.
Yeah. I don't know.
Because right now he's doing it with guys who are they're good.
Yeah.
But these guys Miles Turner never won.
No.
Siakam won. I'll give him that.
Yeah.
Nembhard never won. He's young, but he never won. He's doing it with guys that
they're winners though.
They're winners, but they're winners that.
Because did Nembhard win in college? I'm not sure.
Yes.
I mean, I know at Gonzaga he won a lot, but they didn't win anything at Gonzaga, tournament success wise.
Well, they lost in championship.
Well, I mean, if we're counting,
that's
based on what they should have done. That's a different conversation for a different day. That Baylor
team was good.
Yeah, that was a good squad.
Yeah,
for sure.
But back to I said though, I think Haliburton is. It's going to be hard to not call him a top 3-point guard.
Yeah, I'm going to have no clue where to rank him.
No, it's another player who's hard to rank for a completely different reason, simply because he doesn't pass the eye test.
No.
I mean, let's say, it's too far ahead, but we're talking about Tyrese Haliburton, and then, it's a different position, but we're talking about Tyrese Haliburton going to a Finals. If he were to be able to replicate something like this next season, he's doing something that Anthony Edwards probably won't do in the near future, which is crazy. If I told you Haliburton would make a Finals before Anthony Edwards,
absolutely.
But we can go ahead and get onto that series.
Yeah. What is your biggest takeaway from these first 2 games?
I think OKC is just a much better team.
Yeah,
and I think they're better on both sides of the ball. Particularly though on the defensive end.
Yeah.
And offensively, Minnesota. They finally faced some big men, is what it looks like.
Exactly.
Rudy Gobert looks irrelevant.
He is irrelevant. Yeah. We've known this.
We've known this, but we got fooled. I didn't. Yeah. But people got fooled because he faced Jackson Hayes.
Yeah.
And Draymond Green playing center with no one else.
Come on.
You have to do something with that. That's not really moving me. Rudy Gobert would have had a bad series against the Rockets. Yeah. He would have had a bad series against
the Nuggets.
He only had a good series because it was a perfect matchup for them to dominate bigs. And I think there was, the Warriors were better than them at full strength. I truly do believe that.
Yeah.
When they had Steph Curry, I truly do believe that they would be in this conference finals and it would be much more interesting. I think it would be split right now.
Yeah.
But, that didn't happen.
That would have been a fun series.
That would have been a great series.
Yeah,
and, we looked going into this as two great matchups, great, and we might have two gentlemen's, honestly. We might have two gentlemen sweeps. We might have one sweep, one gentleman.
I don't think the Knicks are going to go out like that. I do think they're going to get them still, too. I don't know where they. I think they get one in Indy, one in New York, and then you're talking about, hey, are we coming back?
I don't know.
3-1.
I don't know. It's tough to play in Indy, and they're going to be jumping.
I do realize that, but the Knicks, I don't think their series has been as.
Can they play better than they played in Game 1?
Right, but that's what these games have been too close to call. Like these games have literally been Tyrese Haliburton hitting back rim. It flies 30 feet into the air and comes down. Like that's my point. And I completely agree with you with this OKC takeaway. OKC is just better. And honestly, Minnesota, people hate OKC. People hate the Bostons, the Indies, just the corny teams of the league. Let's call it what it is. Minnesota is a team I frequently get irritated with. If I could,
it's ISO boss.
If I could voice my displeasure, and I'm not talking about the game at all. I'm not talking about that. I kind of love the way they play. Honestly, I'm talking about the way they all carry themselves, and they do carry themselves like they have been here before. And I don't want to get too cocky because I am an OKC fan, but the fact that they do have the defensive game plan of, hey, we're just going to single cover one of the best offensive guards of all time. The fact that they're still smiling in press conferences like they've been to a finals, like they know they're going to win this game. I don't understand it. I don't understand the cockiness. And we've talked about the immaturity even in the Warriors series where we didn't think they played very great. We thought, once again, if Steph was there, we're probably talking about a Warriors Thunder conference finals right now.
You were telling me that the Minnesota was good at the end of the regular season, and I was telling you, no, they got worse. And
see, they didn't get worse because.
And I'm not gonna lie, like I was kind of frustrated. I'm like, bro, like I don't think they're as good as I don't think they're a conference finals team. I really don't.
Yeah.
I thought last year. I didn't think they were last year. I thought they were down.
I think this is their level because I think Anthony Edwards is so good and he has a perfect team around him. But at this point in time, they have a lot of players that are deemed irrelevant because the Thunder have so much depth in so many ways they can attack you. I haven't felt any of Mike Conley's impact. I haven't felt any of Rudy Gobert, who really doesn't have an impact if there's another 7-footer. Nas Reed has done absolutely nothing. DiVincenzo has been... he's hit some shots, some big shots, but not really anything. Really. Nickeil Alexander-Walker game 1 wasn't great. I think he was 3 for 11 from 3. Yeah. They're not really helping Ant out, and it's because of this great.
I mean, Ant had a bad game 1 though.
Yeah. Well, the thing about that was, I feel like once again OKC just never let them get into their rhythm because I thought Ant played good. But he just wasn't as aggressive. But as far as shot making reads, he was good. He just wasn't aggressive because that's what the best defense of all time in NBA basketball does to you. And that's what I think this OKC defense is, the best defense of all time. And it's not because of the sheer talent that we do have defensively. It's the amounts of bodies, the amounts of different defensive talents that we can throw on you. When you have a guy like Hartenstein, who's a big body that can hold down the paint and force in the paint, and then you have your backside rim protector in Chet Holmgren, and then you have your long, lanky wing that could probably guard 1 through 3. That's going to be probably a top 5 defender and still an all-star for years to come in Jalen Williams. Lou Dort, who's an absolute fire hydrant, and wherever he guards, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander getting in passing lanes, Alex Caruso being one of the best
pests
of all time. Cason Wallace, evolving pest that will be problem. He will be a problem for a while. Aaron Wiggins and Isaiah Joe, who can come in and just guard for 4 minutes and be just as impactful as some of the other defenders. It's really an incredible defense, and I feel like when we talk about this NBA season, it does get undervalued because we don't see the LeBrons, the KDs, the Stephs, the Hardens aren't here. Kawhi isn't in the playoffs anymore. Obviously, Westbrook didn't make it to a conference finals. But this is some of the most elite basketball that we have watched. And
I love the new CBA.
And absolutely.
It's almost like college where you genuinely, like, depth matters now. Your bench matters. Like,
higher quality of basketball.
Higher quality bench players. Bench players are winning you games. Like, as good as Shai is, as good as these guys are, man, it's Caruso who wins you games.
Yes.
Y'all don't win that series without Caruso.
No, not
like,
at all.
I'm sorry, y'all don't. And as good as Shai and all them are, it's Caruso won you the Nuggets series. He did. And
defensively,
the bench matters more. I mean, you see with Boston last year, yeah, Tatum's good, Brown's good. We've had them. Yeah. It's the Derek White, it's the Drew Holiday, it's the Al Horford, it's the Sam Hauser, it's the Peyton Pritchard. That's what takes you over the top, and these teams are, you know, not as top-heavy roster-wise with talent. I mean, with the new CBA, you can't put Kyrie, Harden, and KD on a team together. Anymore. Like, it's like you would literally have me and you playing with them, like, money-wise. You wouldn't be able to afford it. So
don't disrespect us like that, though.
But you get what I'm saying.
I'm getting buckets if you put KD. They're leaving me open, and I'm hitting.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, it's a much higher quality basketball, and you see, you know, you got maybe one A+ guy on your team, one A+, A- guy, maybe like, you know, see the Pacers A-.
Yeah.
Best player, and then you have just a bunch of B to B+ players around.
Exactly. Yeah.
And you didn't see that, honestly, in the last 10 years. It was just, if you had the better top three, you probably won the series. If you
exactly.
Had it got to the point where, and I can't do this anymore, if you have the best player, you're going to win the series.
That doesn't exist anymore.
That doesn't exist anymore.
It feels like Giannis, the era of like Giannis, Embiid, and Jokic was so short-lived because they were the best players from, I would say, maybe until the end of Curry's prime, until when Giannis hopped in and Jokic and Embiid.
Yeah.
It feels like they weren't the best player in this league for a very long. And Jokic is still the best player in the league.
Yeah, Jokic's still the best player.
But the playoff success hasn't been the early 2010s where it was just LeBron and Curry and KD getting there. Like that, it's crazy. I wonder if we just skipped a generation to these young guards quicker than everyone expected. Anthony Edwards, Jalen Brunson, Shai, and Tyrese Haliburton.
Yeah.
Is that
and
the
Luka.
new? Is that the new? Yeah, and Luka. Is that the new normal? Cade Cunningham. Is that what we're expecting?
Yeah, I think it is. I don't think the only team I could see doing it is the Warriors if they make one more move this offseason, flip Kuminga into something you actually fits your system.
Absolutely.
The Curry system, Steve Kerr Curry system, because you can get value for that, and you're getting. When Curry was healthy, you were getting no value out of Kuminga, so you can really upgrade your roster with a trade for Kuminga.
I think that's me.
It is?
Yeah, that is me. That's my Mac. Okay. Sorry.
No, you're good. Where was that? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But, I just think the Warriors are the only team, but I don't see LeBron making another finals. The only way is if they got an elite center. But I don't see them getting an elite center. Like
I don't.
Yeah, I don't. Like I just the only one is Brook Lopez, and then it's like you don't know if you're getting that.
I don't think Brook Lopez has it anymore. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
I don't think that's the piece.
Yeah, he might not. I don't know, but it's just and you don't even need a great center, but you need a good solid one because
you need a vertical.
Honestly, that's the only reason you lost to Minnesota. Yeah. Like it's like you're with Luka and Bron, you're gonna win the first 1 through 3, 1 through 4. It's like you can't start Jackson Hayes and expect to win a playoff series. You're just not like. You have to have a serviceable big. Yeah. And rebounding matters. Yeah. That's why Rockets were able to come back from 3-1. Like, they're just so much better rebounding. You're going to have to, you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Mitchell Robinson's rebounding impact. You know, rebounding matters. But, yeah, I think it's over. I think Cade Cunningham, Paolo, Shai, Tyrese Haliburton, Anthony Edwards, that's the type of people we're going to be seeing from now on in like conference finals and stuff like that. And it's just the new age. I think next year's the last year Curry and Bron have a chance. KD has no chance unless he
goes to Houston
or Detroit.
Yeah, absolutely.
That would be nice.
Wanted to ask you about, actually first, let's talk about the performance that was the Thunder's Game 2 win real quick. Yeah. I just wanted to brag on them real quick. I felt like this was kind of like a pop-out for if this team was to become a dynasty. I don't want to force that into the air, but because of the new CBA and teams winning,
it's going to be hard.
It's going to be tough.
Shai's about to get paid $1 million a game.
He is. But where I was going with that exactly is if we can keep Chet and J-Dub around. And I know you want to have a full cohesive team, but those three played their first playoff game in which I thought those three in particular dominated offensively. Jalen Williams, as far as getting into his mid-range, not settling for deep-range shots that he knows he's probably not going to make. Shai, I'm not going to lie, Minnesota, if y'all want a chance, y'all got to blitz them. Y'all got to double them. Y'all got to make it harder on them. There's not a single individual on that squad that can guard him one-on-one. It was too much last night.
Take a freaking note from the Nuggets. Yeah. They just ran zone and made them shoot. And y'all, the Minnesota Timberwolves would have a better zone if it was coached correctly. Yes. They really would.
So, once again, stop that cocky one-on-one mess. You're not you can't guard him. I mean,
one can.
This was the best offense.
No one can guard Brunson one-on-one. No one can guard Shai one-on-one.
No, this was the best offensive performance I've seen from us, and we've played two worst defenses in two previous series. So stop doing that with Shai. But once again, and Chet being the lob threat that he is, coming in, affecting the game defensively. He had a stretch there in the third quarter, I think, where he just absolutely dominated the game. He has these stretches where he can absolutely dominate as far as rim protection. But, yeah, I just wanted to give him props there. But what I wanted to ask you is about the Shai free throw grifting, the Jalen Brunson as well. We have problems with Jokic, Luka. I just wanted to ask you about if there's any difference with Shai, and do you see a big problem with it?
I see a problem with it, but I don't see my problem with Shai. I think Brunson's worse. I think Brunson's the worst in the entire NBA with it.
Yeah.
He will create contact at half court and just fall. And, he's manipulating the game. He's smart, whatever.
Absolutely.
But NBA, refs, stop giving it to him.
Yeah.
And I saw them not give him a couple calls that he didn't get fouled on, and he tried to sell it late in the clutch instead of him just going to make a basketball play. And it hurt them.
Yeah.
But he's used to getting those.
Yeah.
And I think, honestly, there's only two ways. Either stop giving him the call, or we're going to have to start finding players for when they sell calls or fake stuff that just didn't happen to them.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think there's only... But it's the NBA's problem. It's not Shai's problem. It's not Brunson's problem.
No.
The NBA needs to come in and fix this problem.
Yeah.
But with Shai, Kobe Bryant went to the free throw line more than him. A lot of your favorite players, went to the... Kobe had 2 more free throw attempts than Shai in his playoffs career, or his just, you know what I'm saying, in his prime, statistically. But I think Shai is the Kobe and Mike of this era. I think he might end up being, the very skilled guard, can post you up. If Kobe was a point guard, it would be Shai. I feel like, I really do, and. Yeah, I think, like you said, they have a chance to do a dynasty. I'm going to hold off on that for now simply because there's going to be a point where, you're going to have Shai, Chet, J-Dub, and then, you won't be able won't be able to have 8. You're going to only be able to have 6 or 7. That's just the natural, that's just what it's going to be.
It's the way it goes.
Yeah, it's just the way it goes. So, and I haven't seen enough. I love what I'm seeing. Yeah. Especially in these first 2 games. But
absolutely.
I can't forget what I've seen from J-Dub and Chet to make me just say, okay, dynasty. And, with Shai, he has time, but with J-Dub, I feel like we're getting to the point where we're seeing what J-Dub is, which is an elite defender and an elite scorer when his shot is falling.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So, but once again, when I compare him to players like Kobe and Mike, we have to give Shai more credit. I don't think Shai will end up with 5 rings.
No, he's not.
But
it's a new league.
It's a new league. It's a different league, and I have to give Shai credit if he gets 3 because it's in OKC.
Yeah,
it's never been done there.
Exactly.
And they can't get free agents. They won't get free agents to OKC. That's why I'll hold off on dynasty in OKC, because how many free agents are you really getting that are high level players?
Yeah,
and. So I'll hold off on the dynasty talk, but it's definitely, a possibility. But yeah, I think Shai is the Kobe or the Mike, or I'll just say the Kobe of this era, on the fact that his style, his elite footwork, his skill, getting to the fadeaway, being able to get to the foul line. I mean, but every best player in the world gets to the foul line.
Yeah, so
Embiid got to the foul. Embiid was worse.
Yeah, Embiid was definitely. See, my thing is, I just hope this season, in which is probably a top 3 guard season in this entire century, doesn't go underappreciated, and some of the performances and the skill doesn't go underappreciated. Because last night I thought was a night where you win MVP in front of your home crowd, They got the all blues out. You wearing the blue. You go for about 39 points, and it's all on great buckets, great efficiency. Like, let's just not. I've never seen a star get hated on as much for only like doing positive. I mean, you can say Tatum as well.
Yeah.
We'll go along in that mix.
I mean, Tatum and Shai both get hated on, and they're players who you never hear them in trouble.
And that's my thing. Like it seems like we call the people that never get in trouble and are more chill, and we call them the corny ones. Yeah. When in reality, why do we
is
never,
that not cool?
Why do we never call like Bron corny? I mean, Bron never did anything. Why do we not call why is that not cool? Because it was cool with Curry and Bron and KD. Like what are we talking? Do we want everyone to gamble to like I'm confused about it. Like, but yeah, man.
I think like, and one thing that's impressive is Shai's doing this at 26. Shai is ahead of. I mean, he's gonna have a ring before LeBron did.
Exactly.
And Shai didn't go join.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
Shai absolutely lifted up a franchise that we go through these spurts, and with these small markets, the Nuggets don't deserve credit for drafting Jokic. Jokic was just a blessing that fell into the Nuggets' lap. Giannis with the Bucks, it's the same way. Shai, as much as you thought this was a great trade when you traded away Paul George, you did not know Shai was going to be this. No. And the fact that this is the player that fell into your laps, and he has uplifted a whole city. If this wasn't the player that he turned into, we're not talking about this team as contenders. Even if he was a number 2 option on a great team, we're not talking about this team like contenders like we are right now. But no, this guy has elevated in front of our eyes for the last 5 years. It seems like we've discredited him for every year but the past 2, I would say, because he was dropping 30 the year before that as well. So let's start appreciating the guys that we have now and not discrediting the level of basketball just because of, the foul grifting that has been.
I think y'all have a high, great chance, unless KD or Giannis just get in the absolute right spot. Yeah. I think y'all have an elite chance to make a back-to-back run. Y'all got to win one first, but I think y'all have a great chance to go back-to-back, keep your guys for at least one more year, all of them.
Yeah.
And, he'll have 2 rings before Jordan had 1. Yeah. He'll have 2 rings before Bron had 1. Yeah. And we're talking about an all-time player here. I mean, honestly, from what I'm seeing, I don't think it's crazy to say Shai could be better than Curry before it's all done and be a top 10 player. And I know people are, the Curry fan base is going to, and I said this about a year ago, and the group chat just absolutely just no. And, we're talking about 32 points per game. Yes. We're talking about leading the league in steals last year. Yeah. We're talking about winning a title. He's doing all these things before these players were doing these things. Yeah. He's ahead of the pace that KD, Bron, Curry, he's ahead of their pace. So he's only 26 years old. Yeah. And I understand, like, there'll be years where they're not as good and whatever, but I'm just saying he's going to be ahead of their pace, and, he already has an MVP as well.
I mean, if you compare the Steph and Shai stuff that you just brought up, I mean, you just have to look at, once again, 32 point per game score. Only had 1 game this season, I believe, under 20 points. I mean, let's really think about that. That is ultra consistent, and he has been ultra consistent in the playoffs. He can get to the mid-range at any point, which is a high-level shot. There's not a lot of variance with his shot quality. If you're only getting mid-ranges, you're going to hit those mid-ranges. So it's something that we are going to have to talk about. And like you said, if he does win in a small market, it's not the same as winning 5 in a big market in LA. No, if you win 2 or 3 in a small market, that's a lot. That's a lot for that market. Look at what Tim Duncan is, and look at how high he's been ranked. So, it is going to be interesting to see, and we have to see if they can close it out. I mean, once again, it looks like we have dominated, but Game 3, the series starts when the home team loses, so we got to see that happen. Yeah, but I don't see OKC dropping both in Minnesota.
No,
but
I think both series are over in my personal opinion. I think
which one do you think is more over?
It's hard because you have New York who lost 2 home games. Yes, but then Minnesota. Me just watching the games,
it just looks worse.
It just looks worse, and not all 2-0s are created equal. I'm not gonna lie, and the way like y'all shot bad. Y'all shot bad from 3 in the first half, and y'all were up 6, 8.
We shot 9 for 33. From
yeah, like y'all like. So like, can y'all offensively play worse?
I mean, we can,
but like, I don't know. And then it's like, they're like, yeah, well, Randall had game. I hear a lot of Randall had game 1. Anthony Edwards had game 2. They're gonna put it together.
Yeah.
But like the way they play ISO-centric basketball, it's my turn. It's your turn. It's my turn. Are we sure that that's gonna happen?
Yes.
It's not like the Pacers where it's a system. You know, it's not even like, honestly, with OKC, the only reason OKC can do it is because they have so many guys that can step up.
Yeah.
But I don't know J-Dub's gonna have a good next game.
No.
I don't know Chet's gonna. The only person I know is gonna have a good game is Shai.
Yes.
Like, and while with teams like the Pacers or even the Knicks, because they don't play as many people in their system, I know what certain guys, what I'm getting them from.
Yeah.
And I can't for sure say Randall and Anthony Edwards both about to have 30. And a problem, you know, Anthony Edwards had a great game too in a loss, but there's been a lot of games this postseason that I've looked at Julius Randle as the best player on their team that particular night.
Yeah.
And if they want to win this series, Randle has to play good, but that can't be the case.
Yeah, and has to take over. And was spectacular in this game, too.
He was spectacular in game 2, but once again, don't drop 18 next game.
Yeah.
Don't, because honestly, I see a lot of, I mean, if Shai did it, for sure, if Tatum did it, if even LeBron haters, if like, if y'all want
that upper echelon,
if y'all want to put Anthony Edwards in the the basketball community and all the fans and social media want to put him on this level, we can't just swipe 18 points in a game 1.
That's what happened with Jimmy Butler.
Set the tone series. We can't we can't do that. We can't do that and then only talk about his good games.
Yeah,
we can't do that because that's just not how it works.
Absolutely.
Like, you're supposed to set the tone game 1. You didn't show up. Your Randall did. You wasted a good Randall game. How many more of those are you going to get with Hartenstein and Chet? I don't know.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Well, thank you guys for tuning in. We will be posting pretty much very soon. I think probably after the game 4s is the next time we'll post.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for tuning in. Like, comment, subscribe, and peace out.